But back to Juan's original point, I'd actually like to hear your opinion on why you think it's not a real city.
There was nothing about it that like made me feel like anything of like the things that I feel when I go to Chicago and Milwaukee. Like they do not scratch any of the same itches. Feel like you're in a suburb the whole time. And like if you don't get that suburb feel, you got good college feel. So if you like college and suburb, cool. So like it's so spread out. Literally that's what I mean by this huge overgrown suburb. The feeling of that city is shitty.
Welcome to Bro Taste This.
Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches, hijos de su reteputísima madre.
I am loving this.
Bienvenidos a otro episodio de Vida y Vino con tus amigos de Bro Aprueba Esto. Hoy en día estamos con Juan la leyenda. Estamos con Philip el hombre de oro.
Buenos días, toda mi gente mexicano.
Y como siempre, yo soy su eco-host, Luis Pablo. ¿Cómo están, chavos?
Estamos a puro 100, muchachos y muchachas.
For all the English listeners, they're like, what the fuck did I just tune into?
Is this still the World Cup? I thought I changed the channel. What is this?
Is Telemundo on?
Honey, I thought we stopped paying for Univision.
Told you to cancel the land package.
Damn. Don Francisco.
I just feel great because I'm finally back in the studio with you guys.
Yeah,
yeah.
By the
We
way,
need a cheers to that.
Yes, this feels so great to be in
Bro,
person.
taste this wine.
Ooh la la. We're starting right off to our old core values. Nice glass of wine in the beginning.
Yeah, classic. We're in the studio.
When you switch from gin to wine, this shit drinks like
Oh,
Welch's.
Yeah.
This shit is Welch's juice.
For those of you listening, go check out the latest video that we have where we taste 3 different gins at 3 different prices and rate each one. You'll watch it and see how we think of each price. It's actually maybe surprising for some what we actually like and dislike.
Oh yeah.
But enough said. Go watch that video. Today we are talking about the World Cup. We're going to share some personal stories. For Thanksgiving, we'll have already passed when this comes out.
Oh yeah. We're gonna
I
talk
feel
about
like we should definitely talk about like
how fat we get.
some highlights and lowlights or that you guys are looking forward to Thanksgiving.
Oh,
like
for
some
sure.
dishes that you look forward to
Yeah,
eating. Some dishes you look forward to scrapping.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been a while since we've gotten personal on this podcast. So with that being said, we'll definitely get into that. But enough about that. What are we drinking today,
Yeah,
gentlemen?
so let's dive into it. Let's screw this cork in and let's get into it. Huh?
Yeah.
Tell us what we're drinking.
What is this, Komodo?
That's
said-
right.
Tell us what we're drinking. You're holding the wine.
I'm telling myself. So we're drinking Komodo Dragon out of Columbia Valley, Washington. It's a red wine blend.
Washington being the capital state for our United States, right? Or is that the West Coast Washington?
Yeah, the West Coast,
West
Washington.
Coast
There's only Washington State makes wine. Washington, D.C. doesn't do wine.
They don't make grapes over there?
No.
Washington, D.C.? I don't think so, no.
No.
Well, I mean, the Democrats... Oh, I won't even get there.
Let's not get into that. What do you guys think about this wine so far?
Well, visually speaking, I'm a visual man. If those who've listened to the last episode with Wakanda Forever know that I'm all about the eyes. And, judging from this, it's a really dark color.
Whoa, it's really
hard to
enjoyable.
see it.
Wow.
Pretty
Yeah, it is
dry?
very dark, but it is... Dude, it's actually very fruit-forward. Very pleasant on the palate.
Wow.
Medium body.
This is
Fruit-forward.
like very... I would pair this well.
A lot of tannins.
Buffalo Wild Wings. This is a good everyday sipper, good drink. It has a good picture to it, good color, got a good cover, got a good body. I feel like it's not too strong with the dryness, but it's not too sweet with the grapes.
Hold up.
Phil, I feel like we should add another characteristic to wine that like
I feel like this wine's pretty gay.
and that characteristic being the label.
Yeah.
Phil, what like you being our most novice and like just being our most novice buyer, what
And
do you think
know
about
he's the
this
most
label?
novice by saying that he's pairing it with Buffalo Wild Wings.
Definitely.
Could you imagine being a server at Buffalo Wild Wings? By the way, reputable establishment,
Disagree.
which is always hit or miss. Always
figure
hit or
miss.
Hit or
Just miss.
Well, that's why it's reputable.
Always hit. Yeah, reputable because you never know what you're getting. On service, on quality. I mean, it is so hit or miss in there. But imagine being like, hey, I'm going to do the blazing challenge. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, do you know the rules? They go through the rules with you. They're, all right, what would you like to drink? And you're like, Komodo Dragon Cabernet Blend. You're like, I'll see you in the bathroom.
I was going to say, my asshole hurts just listening to that.
But, yeah, what do you think about the label here?
Oh, the label, just going off, for those who know me, like I said, I'm very visual. And I have a keen for the Asian culture. And this being a Komodo dragon, one of the things that's very popular in the Asian lore is the deal of serpents and dragons. So right off the bat, I'm getting a little homesick with it. I'm getting a little bit of familiar feel to it. If you're... Oh, yeah. It's just by the visual. It's a 2016 out of, like he was saying, Columbia Valley from Washington.
Yeah.
If you're trying to look for a good gimmick wine, maybe Chinese New Year's coming up, this would be a more than acceptable choice for Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
With it being the dragon, which is a zodiac sign for the Chinese zodiac.
Interesting fucking reference there.
Thank you.
You went there.
Personally, I'm a rat. I was born in the year of the
year of
rat.
the rat, baby. We're all rats, no?
Did
What
you
are
put
you?
mic on?
No, he's
Yeah.
he's a little bit.
I'm a dog.
You're a dog?
Yeah.
I'm a dog.
You are
dirty
a dog. You're a dirty one at that.
Yeah. Damn
Loyal,
right.
loyal, dirty scoundrel.
Loyal, but sometimes I piss inside. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's just your old habits breaking
And sometimes you just rub yourself in the dirt and there just happens to be some like feces in that
Oh,
dirt.
dude, my dog did that once and I was so fucking angry. It fucking
Takes after his owner.
Amen.
Hey,
Amen.
dog.
Out of 5 bros, what do we give this Komodo Dragon Columbia Valley?
I would say 4 hairs of the dog.
I'm gonna give it 3 hairs of the dog. I think it's good. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
This is great for maybe something we'll talk about later, which is like a big group outing.
Yeah.
Like people who don't typically drink wine can drink this and be
Yup.
like, "Oh, this is wine."
This is very palatable towards
Yeah.
like a lot of different flavor profiles. Like
Yeah.
if you like bitter, if you like sweet, like both those people could maybe like this.
Yeah, I think something that we always need to keep in mind when we're doing our rating and our taste test is, what is the everyday person gonna enjoy as well? Like people who don't always drink wine, who maybe have had a Moscato or a Pinot Noir, like they've heard those words before, but
Yeah. It's people that have seen
The whites
the
and
movies
Findels.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
yeah, people who are gonna watch a TikTok where somebody says a Negroni, Spagliato,
People who ask if you
Ooh,
have
stunning.
Zinfandel and they mean like the pink one.
ooh, stunning. I'm sorry, what?
I was saying
Oh,
people
yeah.
who ask about Zinfandel and then
Yeah.
they mean the pink one.
No, for sure. Yeah, me and my fiance have been saying, ooh, stunning, like all around the house for like probably weeks now since that fucking TikTok came out. Like she started saying it, but now I fucking picked up on it.
All right,
And
fill me in. I'm already on the back.
Yeah, I need to
so-
get filled in on this shit
There
too.
was this, I've talked about it on the podcast before too.
The Negroni Spagliato
The
video?
Negroni Spagliato video.
But I don't remember them saying that, but I guess
The-
I wasn't paying too
Stunning.
close
The girl
attention.
across from her, Olivia, I forget her last name, but she's the queen in the House of Dragon show. But she just goes, ooh, stunning. And just the way she says it, like, so often. People are talking about the Prosecco and the Spagliato part. I'm like, so honed in on the, ooh, stunning part.
Was she looking at a mirror of herself? Because I'll say those words to
God,
her
you're
every day.
such a fucking dog.
Ooh, stunning.
Do miss you guys. I do.
Thank you. I
love you,
Feels
brother.
good to be in person. We'll do a little bit of catching
Honestly,
up here.
out of the 3 of us, and this is just us coming back from Thanksgiving, we got fat as fuck. Holy shit. Every single one of us. What happened?
Yeah,
Is it because of the success of Bro Taste This?
Yeah, the success. I've gained in the last year 5 pounds. I'm up to like 195 to 200.
That makes more sense. Your cheeks are way puffier.
Yeah,
All those 5 pounds went
dude.
straight to those left.
Yeah,
right
you
cheeks.
think so? Yeah, I've been working not hard in the gym. I've been taking it pretty easy. I've been stressed out because I'm moving, man.
I was just going to
Moving
say, you're in the
is-
middle of moving. You get a workout after the gym, too.
Yeah, so if people don't see me on the podcast for a couple episodes, it's because I'm literally hauling boxes 60 miles away.
He's fighting off the homeless so they don't intervene.
Yeah, moving to good old Madison. And, this actually reminds me a lot of...
How do you like Madison?
I love Madison.
What
We'll
do you
get into
think
that.
of the criticism that Madison's not a real city?
Who says that?
I do.
Who says that?
It's a fucking overgrown suburb.
Ooh, that's a good
you know,
point.
Like there's like no city to it. Like
from the outside, it
the
definitely looks that way.
the capital is all of like a block.
Too much gentrification, personally.
From the outside, it definitely looks that way, right? And we'll get into that. But I want to quickly touch on a moment that I remember vividly, clear as day, was we were at, to our gentleman to our left here, we were at his wedding. And I remember his fiance, his wife then, was saying, like, guys, thank you so much for coming out.
Wait, his wife then, but his fiance now?
No. I was going to say his fiance. No, she was saying, like, if you want to plan a wedding, it's so stressful. This is so difficult, but thank you all so much for coming. I'm having such a great night. And that fucking could not be said more about moving also. Like, they say that getting married and moving are the most stressful things you would do in your life. Boy, are they fucking right. Like, moving is such a fucking hassle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is there's so much work involved. Like, even if you have people helping you, even if you have, like, shit you're throwing away, like, you get to a point where you're like, I want to throw everything away and restart. Like, I would rather move with nothing.
Just buy everything up there.
And be like, dude, just fucking leave it behind.
It's only 60 miles away though.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's not like 3 hours away, or it's like
it's not 2 days
Good
away.
hour.
It's
Right.
not it's not a California,
Spare
you know.
change.
it's an hour and some change. So it's not horrible, but it's at the same time you're like, there is just shit that you accumulate as a human that you just like,
That
you're
you
like,
thought
why
you
do I
might need,
have
but
this?
you never used it.
Yeah, and so I remember someone saying that on a podcast long time ago. It must have been like 10 years ago when I heard that. Was like, when you keep something in the back of your head, you're like, I might need this someday. When you do need it, you'll forget where it is or you'll misplace it. Just fucking throw everything away when you get the chance to. Just like, don't keep anything. Keep fucking nothing. Because at the end of the day, it is so much easier to just replace it
Hell
and
yeah.
get something brand new
Mhm.
than it is to like, oh, where's that fucking screw that I might need? Or, oh, where's that button on this shirt that I need to sew back on? Just fucking throw the whole thing away.
Where's my late father's ashes? Put that somewhere.
Put that around here somewhere.
Fuck it. I'll
Yeah.
go get me a new daddy at that point. But the one thing that I hate about moving is glassware. I hate getting newspaper and just like
Oh my
doing
dude.
that little like
Yeah, the
arts and
protective.
crafts.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you know.
Yeah, dude, it's a fucking pain in the ass because you have to put newspaper all like I have just from like not only this show but like from my love of like drinks and everything else. I love having like different kinds of glassware for what you need, like martini glasses, different kinds of wine glasses, and yeah, it's like, dude, putting it away in boxes and like wrapping it in bubbles and foam, like, dude, it just takes forever. Like when I have to take the shit out of the box, like I'm gonna end up with so much trash. Like I'm gonna become the neighborhood's worst fucking homeowner.
Hey, bro, one man's trash is another man's home. Put that to the curb.
That's
That'd
true.
be taken in not even half
Exactly.
a day.
All those boxes, dude, they're gonna get fucking put to work.
All those
If anything, you'll get a
newspapers.
new neighbor.
Yeah.
He'll be in the end of your driveway. He's like, hey, man, is this place open? How much you want for
It's
this?
like the boxes I left out there, and just fucking take them and run to the fucking hills.
Hey, what's included?
Hey, leave the newspaper behind. I could use that. But back to Juan's original point. I'd actually like to hear your opinion on why you think it's not a real city.
Oh, Madison, yeah, Mad City. This is still
Yeah.
called Madtown? or
Mad, yeah,
City?
like out of like we live in a very like this beautiful like golden zone of like you are one like very close to Madison, Chicago, and Milwaukee.
That zone
like-
you're referring to, they call that gerrymandering.
No, that's not it.
That's not.
That's not even
That's
close.
so far
Yeah.
off.
I thought we were giving
No.
praise to the
Not even
beautiful
close.
squares that they cut off.
But point is like I lived in Madison for a year, like
Yeah.
and like there was nothing about it that like made me feel like anything of like the things that I feel when I go to Chicago or Milwaukee. Like they do not scratch any of the same itches. Like you just feel like you're in a suburb the whole time. And like if you don't get that suburb feel, you got college feel. So if you like college and suburbs, cool. But like like it's not the same thing as Chicago, Milwaukee, or any of that,
No.
like at all.
I would
And
like-
also, like it's so spread out. Like it's so spread out. Literally, that's what I mean by this huge
Very
overgrown
wide.
suburb.
Yeah.
Like there's no density to it. Like everywhere you go is 40 minutes away, even though it's in the city. Or like
No.
if it's like during like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, yeah, like
You
the
see-
belt
You
line.
can say it about any big, populated metropolitan.
Not really,
No,
dude.
but
Like Milwaukee, like you could walk 2 miles like to your next place.
I
Like
agree.
and you might get there faster than like the 40 minutes.
I
It
agree
depends
and
where you're
disagree.
going,
I
yeah.
agree and disagree. Right now, we're getting into like Sim City, fucking how do you build certain towns?
No,
and-
that's just called life. Like that's just called city planning.
Hey, bro, I
No,
used to
no.
fuck with SimCity too.
Yeah.
But what I mean is like Milwaukee is very like you get these like it's unfair to compare it to Chicago, especially because
Definitely.
I disagree. Like
Chicago
it,
sucks, dude. I fucking hate Chicago.
I love Chicago.
Yeah.
And Chicago was a home that I wanted to be, and it just like didn't work out with like certain variables and boxes it wasn't picking. But I do love Chicago, and Milwaukee's always been like a hit or miss for me because although there is a lot going on, it's also like extremely segregated, and there's parts of Milwaukee. I'm not gonna say they're like dangerous or unsafe, but there's parts of Milwaukee where you are like, this feels extremely underdeveloped, but next to the Pfizer Forum, it's like fucking New York City. So it's like, where are they? And I understand that they're putting the money in certain places, and as they should, right? Because that's how you kind of grow the city, and you don't want to gentrify the neighborhood too much. But I think Milwaukee suffers from under gentrification, and like you get a very hard line of like, this is the Mexican neighborhood, this is the black neighborhood, this is the white neighborhood. So
That is more traditional in that way. Like Juan was saying, of like the back in the old days of like, yes, this is Chinatown, this is the Mexican block, this is that block.
right.
Madison's more.
yeah, I feel like you only don't get
enclosed.
that in Madison because like where like
Well,
what is it like?
dude, it's-
mostly white.
No, there's a lot of students there though. There's
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
I
but
disagree.
like
I disagree. I think there's a ton of minorities that I've already met. B, I know.
But like, what is the layout of the city? Milwaukee seems like it has a lot
Bro,
more minorities than
when I-
Madison.
Well, for sure, because it's
like there's no bars like district. There's like there's nothing like that. There's
Yeah.
Ian's Pizza, dude. What the fuck?
yeah.
talking
Ian's
about
Pizza.
Milwaukee.
Oh
Yeah.
my god,
No, I'm
it's so
talking about
cool.
Madison.
Oh yeah,
Well, there's one in Milwaukee too, actually.
no, I think that Madison, what it suffers is the college. I think the reason the town is never going to grow, like to.
It's
be-
the fastest growing city in the state.
I think the reason it's not going to grow to be like a Milwaukee or Chicago is because of the college of what it is exactly. So even though in Milwaukee you have UW Milwaukee has the highest acceptance rate in most of the UW schools apart from UW Whitewater. So you get a lot of individuals going there. When I went to Whitewater, there's a lot of minorities. When I've been in Milwaukee, there's a lot of minorities. But, we're sounding fucking like Ben Shapiro now. But in Madison, UW Madison is such a like big established school that it takes a certain level of funding and finance to be able to attend, and B, just
I mean, what does a school have to do with the city not
because
developing?
the school will, this is the thing, this is where I'm getting to. The school will bring in people to go to the college, graduate, and stay in the city. I know people from UW Milwaukee that just stayed there.
Yeah.
Same with like Chicago, people go to U of I or Loyola.
Yeah.
And then stay there.
That sounds like you're helping explain why it would develop.
But because of the hard acceptance rate of UW Madison, because how expensive it is to go there, I think it actually ends up only allowing a certain amount of people to be able to go, such as the privileged and the more wealthy.
Yeah, but that sounds like a drop in the bucket, bro. Like
You think so?
Yeah, that sounds like a drop in the bucket when like compared, like Madison has like 2 or 3 schools like, UW Madison and MATC, which is
Yeah.
like a 30,000 student campus.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
those that didn't get into UW Mad, they go to the MITC and all that stuff. But to even get to the UW Mad, you got to have a high academic, credential. It doesn't you don't got to be white to be smart. But
No.
most doctors
I'm not
are
saying UW
Indians.
Madison is the fastest growing city in the state, or not UW Madison. Madison is the fastest
Yeah.
growing city in the state. Like it is growing, but just the feeling of that city is shitty.
The World Cup is going on.
Yeah, I
And-
saw that America got booted off, right?
So no, they are still technically in the competition. It's a very intricate. It's not that intricate, but there's group games, and then depending on how you perform, that you go on and play playoffs. Right? It's kind of like so three. It's like 3 regular season games, and then you play in the
To
playoffs.
qualify for the next round.
Yeah, but and so there's also like a ton of
Who's in the group? The U.S.
It is England, Wales, and what's Iran is the last one.
Who are the? I would assume England is one of the power teams.
England
in
is the
that
favorites,
group.
and one game has
Doesn't Wales have a lot of like really good? I could have sworn they had like a lot of players in the Premier League, don't they?
They have a few. They have.
Or maybe I'm remembering a different
And those
place.
are the Gunners, right? Let's go Gunners.
No, Wales is a country, bro.
Wales is a
But
country.
I thought the Premier
Arsenal.
League was Gunners.
Yep.
Yeah,
Arsenal.
yeah.
Yep.
Gunners are in the Premier League. You are right. Yeah. So by the time people have watched this, the second round of games for their group will have played, so there'll be a better understanding of where USA might end up. But at the time of recording, sorry for the burping. At the time
burping the mic. This is what the people want to hear.
At the time of recording, USA will have just played Wales, and they drew 1-1, and England destroyed Iran.
Like 4-0?
It was like 7-2, I think. Or
Damn.
6-2.
Morale's got to be low for Iran.
6-2. So Iran looked like the whipping boys, but you never know. I mean, we've seen some weird things going on in this World Cup, on the field and off the field. And I believe that you guys had a few questions for me as the
residential or like soccer expert.
Correct.
My first question is, how do you pronounce it? Is it quarter?
No,
Is it Qatar?
Qatar.
Qatar.
Yeah, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Yeah. Most people just pronounce it Qatar with a hard T. But yeah, I've heard all types of pronunciations from a country the size of Connecticut. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So
So is there like a elimination? So if you lose your first round, is there like a round robin where you can like fight your way back to the tournament?
No, it's not. I think that style is called Swiss style. I believe that's what they call it. Like,
it's an actual thing in soccer, they call it?
It's not in soccer. It's just in like tournament-based sports. So like I'm familiar with it because of Smash Brothers and like esports essentially, where like you play certain games and then if you
I love that you carry that term. You're like, I'm sure this applies to other stuff.
I remember it. I remember it being specifically to like esports, where like if you lose, you get into a losers bracket, and then from a losers bracket, it's like a separate tournament, and then you work your way up. But no, if you need to, I think the rule is like 4 points. That's like the unwritten rule where like out of your first 3 games, if you get 4 points, you should be able to qualify, because that means you will have beaten one of the other teams and also drew another team.
Swiss style?
No. This is just regular. This is what it is now. So with USA winning one game, they will have 4 points. So they need to beat either England or Iran, which means the same for Wales. Wales will have to play Iran and also play England. So it's just a number of things that can happen.
I'm not a big soccer guy, right? But the one thing I've been keeping an eye on is the controversies that are following through.
Yeah, that's what I really want to talk about.
For example, they're very not supportive of the pride. Very anti-pride.
Yeah, so by the time people have listened to this, more stuff will have come out. But yeah, I know that we're very big on like, rights and other things on this podcast. We always try to highlight local news and world news on things that aren't, especially I think Juan is the number one proponent on that, on this podcast of highlighting the lowlights of, people's rights and making sure that everybody is being treated equally, which is not the case for the World Cup since its announcement in 2010. There has been over 3,000 deaths related to some sort of funding, and whether it's building stadiums, whether it's building hotels, any infrastructure that has happened since its announcement has resulted in thousands of deaths. They have had immigrants.
I was going to say, I've heard that their immigration system is extremely exploitative. That they will allow like a lot of immigrants in, but essentially be like third-class citizens.
And the shitty part of those about being an immigrant and like building it and being like a slave essentially is that at the end of the day you can't even view your end product. You can't even do that. And that's the one nice thing about the United States American soccer team that they did. Before the game started, they took the couple of migrant workers and they took them into the stadium.
A few of the big teams that. So
Can you break that story down a little bit?
England
What
did it
happened?
as well. Yeah, they so the USA players and the England players actually invited some of the migrant workers into their training facility so they could train while they were training inside the stadium they were going to play in. The migrant workers were actually let in
Experiencing the
and
pitch.
saw the stadium because beforehand, even though like Phil said they had built it, they weren't allowed to step foot in it. I mean, it was like once the structure was built, then they got like the field engineers to come in and the grass and all that super high level stuff that you don't really think about for sports. But yeah, I mean, it's been awful.
But downright an abomination to human rights.
Yeah, there's actually a great video, and I hate to direct people towards a different channel at the moment, but John Oliver actually highlighted it very well and did a great.
Johnny Harris did too.
Yeah, I mean, a ton of people have been like, hey, this thing that everybody's enjoying, like that's literally built on skulls.
Yo, here's my Juan moment. All of these Olympics and World Cup classes or World Cup events have had similar stories.
It's always the same.
Yeah, it's always the same. Even here in the U.S., like when we've had the Olympics in L.A. or Atlanta, they're like always gentrify the shit out of a neighborhood.
And the part that sucks about that, once the event is done, or Olympics or the World Cup in this case, that stadium becomes obsolete.
Yeah,
all the
most of the time
infrastructure
it's obsolete.
to
Yeah,
ghost town. It's all the
yeah, it
lives
doesn't
that
get
die for
used.
that.
Yeah,
some of the World Cup stadiums from Brazil back in 2014, because 2010 was South Africa, 2014 are actually rotting as we speak.
Bro, take me back to 2010. Waka waka waka. Hey.
Dude,
Give it up for
Shakira
Africa.
killed it, dude, with that soundtrack. I don't think I've ever heard like another
Honestly, I
World
don't think
Cup
so.
track like
As big as that one.
buzz around the universe like that.
No, I mean it was a huge deal, but it's a shame, like you said, these amazing sporting events would be held, and they bring a ton of money in, and then things just get left out.
Yeah.
Like there's no second thought ever put.
I'm gonna allow me to play devil's advocate here. I've been seeing a lot of, because of the human rights violation that's trending right now.
Yeah.
On the opposite side is the view of like, well, why do we have to adhere to the Western culture values? Why can't they respect our traditional values? Which I don't agree with either side.
I'm actually
you
really
know.
glad you brought that up, because it is a conversation to be had, right? Like, why are we forcing our opinions and our views on them when the reason they have some of their views and opinions are because of their religion, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And I completely understand that point, and I would almost agree with it to an extent. The extent being the way they treat other people.
Exactly. See, like it's cool enough to have your own beliefs and values,
Yeah.
but once your beliefs and values start causing physical or emotional reprimandable damage
No, absolutely.
to an individual or a group,
Yeah.
that's when you put the foot down.
Yeah, when you're not letting like females into soccer stadiums. When you actually, the first fucking game of the World Cup involved Qatar and Ecuador, there was not a single female Qatar fan.
Damn.
Like they panned to the crowd and it was all men in their
Were they in traditional?
their traditional
Costume.
Yeah, their traditional not costume. It's what they wear every day.
I wear this every day.
This is my podcast costume. Yeah, and so it's like you get to a point where it's like, okay, I understand that you don't want the Western civilization and the Western devil in your backyard, but you're not going to let women drive. You're not going to let gay and other minorities, and I'm kind of putting them all together, be regular people. And I think overall, it makes for a poor taste in your mouth when you're watching this event. And I actually want to give Juan props. I said this off camera, but I definitely want to say it again, that it's easy to point your finger at something that is invisible and you can't touch and you can't evolve. And I'm referring to when we talked about Bad Bunny's music video El Apagón that involved like electricity being an issue and like schools being defunded when, our own schools in our own Warth County are going through the same thing. I think it's very easy for people to point their finger and be like, look how disgusting it is in Qatar. Look what they're doing to people.
Shame.
There are people still in cages on the border.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the border of American USA, there are still, immigrants who are just trying to escape from their life and build a better life into the United States, and also they're just stuck in cages and there's nothing that we can do. There's a ton of illegal immigrants that pray every day when they wake up because they don't want to be caught by the police because of a number of things that could happen if they get pulled over. So I think it's very easy to point your finger at the World Cup and say like this devastating thing that's going on and like how can we watch it? But at the same time it's like, yeah, that means you can't watch any sports. Like, I understand Qatar is being put under a magnifying glass and the amount of corruption and bad issues that have happened since then. But, I mean, just any fucking sport. The reason that these athletes get paid millions of dollars is because the organization makes billions of dollars. Like, there's no, when are you going to, like, turn the blind eye? It's easy to say, like, oh, this is a fucking issue, but it's hard to fucking change it. Like, there's no, like, what are you going to do? Not fucking, they're going to make the money. Yeah.
I mean, bro, you're kind of doing their job for them. Like, the reason they did this is called sports washing.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and you're here being like, well, I mean, we all do bad things.
No,
but
no,
like,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
But,
I'm
like,
saying,
why shouldn't we watch?
We're already going to hell. Might as well have a good time.
Yeah, that couldn't have been better summarized.
I was going to say.
That's the Western view on us right there.
Fuck it. That's not what I was saying.
You can have your cake and eat it too.
That is not what I was saying. I was saying people want to point
I'm glad I brought that up then, because I thought that's how
not
I was
at all.
getting
not
it.
at all. I understand sports washing, which is what Qatar did with PSG, which is what Saudi Arabia.
It's what it's doing on this large scale right now.
Which is
what's PSG? Is that the fighter?
Paris Saint-Germain. That is GSP.
Yeah, see? Okay.
The soccer team.
PSG is like the Barcelona of France.
Okay.
Yes. Which actually have Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi all at their team.
What the fuck?
In one team. Qatar Airways is their sponsorship, right? The sports washing is a very real thing, and people, like Saudi Arabia is doing it with Newcastle, Qatar is doing it with PSG, and I forget who is doing it with Manchester City. I forget.
Ronaldo left Manchester, didn't he?
Yes, but I want to hear the end of this.
Sports washing is a real thing, and it's funny because fans, when their teams get bought out, are like, well, the money's got to come from somewhere. It might as well come from like one of the most evil representations.
It might as well come from the Death Star.
Yeah, and it's like that's literally like when Newcastle recently got bought out in January of last year, and yeah, you saw all these Newcastle fans, which have been like kind of a sleeping giant in the Premier League, literally post profile pictures with like the cheek outfit on, like let's go, let's get the money injection in, let's fucking do this. So it's like. They're
leaning into it.
We're just gonna turn the blind eye.
Yeah.
And so when you said like this is sports washing, we might as well watch it. That is not what I'm saying at all. I think that we should definitely fucking put our nose up at this and realize what an awful event is being played.
Yeah.
What I mean is certain people, social justice warriors, want to tweet out a brave tweet like, ugh, I can't believe people are watching this World Cup. I will not be participating. It's like, motherfucker, what are you doing to fix the world then? I think there's so many. This is a much deeper conversation to be had, but I think there's so many people that just want to like be brave and say things online.
If you want to change the world, you got to make your bed. You got to make your bed first. You got to clean your room. There's
no real men. You gotta grab life by the balls. Yeah, I think it's easy to tweet out, oh, this is a horrible event, I'm not going to watch it. It's like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You think they were depending on your fucking view? Like, no, like, if we want to make a change, we got to fucking, like, boycott this shit and not fucking represent anything. Like, I don't know what it is we can do.
It's pretty crazy that in our lifetime, every one of our, like, mega sports, like, stars is going to be pictured in Saudi Arabia or, like, with a sheik of some sort. With some high-level prince.
Yeah.
They're going to have a picture of, like, hey, I'm with him.
Well, this is also like Ronaldo's last World Cup, Neymar's last World Cup, Messi's last World Cup, Modric's last World Cup. So
it's all these like legends like going out.
Generational talents. Yeah. And it's a shame that it's like it's going to be remembered for that and not for like
for their story.
Remember
Not for
when you sold your soul to the devil?
Yeah.
Not for like
here's a picture actually.
And they can't like I'm sure a lot of them would like to speak out and say like this is horrible.
Yeah,
I can't believe
I
we're
wish it wasn't here.
No.
I can't believe we're having the World Cup here. But like then they would be prohibited from playing, which means they would miss out on an event that only happens 4 years. And the World
Has
Cup
there been any famous? That brings me to like a good question. Has there been any famous like big profile protests? Like who was like, nah, I'm not playing.
No.
No.
Not in soccer.
Not in soccer.
No.
Not in soccer.
The only
It's
one I
kinda
can think about
surprising.
is LeBron James with basketball. He
Yeah.
brought awareness to the Hong Kong oppression. And
Okay,
then
okay.
what
Shut
happened-
Shot
up.
down
Shut
immediately.
up.
Yeah, China was like,
Yeah.
stop that, LeBron. He's like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah. Same thing with John Cena.
Yeah, same thing with John Cena. He's
Legit,
like,
Yeah.
though.
I
Okay.
apologize.
Yeah,
'cause-
it's funny. Money speaks. The
Yeah.
Benjamin speak. Who would have
yeah,
knew?
'cause
No.
you know what happens is, actually, so there was.
Yeah, I was
one-
gonna say I'm very surprised that there's not a single like.
not, and it's tough because
I would have thought like a person from Egypt,
dude,
Iran.
these guys are so replaceable. These guys are.
I know, but like
dude, but like,
maybe Mohammed Salah, what like
Mohammed Salah Ben,
no, bro, these guys are like
MSP.
in soccer. There are only it's such a large fucking sport
pool to draw from.
that there are only one trophy gets won every year. So it's not like the NBA or the NFL where it's like the same 32 teams or the same 20 teams. Like when it comes to Champions League, it could be any fucking number of teams depending on who qualifies. When it comes to Premier League, it could be any fucking team. Like it is so fucking competitive that
Wait, how many teams are competing for those slots, and how many slots are there?
there's just like fine margins of like who's able to win it. Like it can be like come down to one decision, one like.
Bro, welcome to sports, dog. That's not
Right,
that impressive.
Right. But what I
Like,
mean is
how many teams are competing for those like Premier League
a lot,
spots?
a lot.
Is it 60, 100?
When it comes
200,
to the Champions
30?
League, there are 32 teams that start, but those 32 teams are dependent on how they performed the year before. So
Yeah.
it's like it could be anyone. It could just come down to like getting unlucky, like having your best player get injured. But what I mean is like that's why these guys don't speak out, because you'd be surprised that an NBA like bench player gets paid more than like a star athlete for like Manchester City, because there's
Yeah.
less of them. There's less NBA players. There's less NFL players.
There's not less NFL players. There's more NFL players.
There's a more bigger pool for
There's-
NFL and basketball than there is soccer.
You're talking about how many leagues in Europe that play soccer?
Yeah, I just meant per team.
Oh,
Like,
no, yeah,
there's
per
like
team.
50
Per team,
NFL
yes.
players,
But what I mean is
yeah.
like there's only so many like NBA.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
But those are the
like
same.
every
Mhm.
town, I'm sure in England has like some semi-pro team.
Oh yeah, there's
That like is like, oh, well, this is the year we go pro, boys. This is the year.
No, exactly.
Hey mates, like
Yeah.
buy an extra pint, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like this is a year. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean there's such fine margins.
Speaking of fine margins, Ronaldo, he's looking pretty fine nowadays. I heard his ass left United.
He
Yeah, he was talking shit about the owners or
he
something.
was, he was talking hell.
What did he say?
Shit. So he did a 2-hour interview with Pierce Morgan, in
Yes,
which
yes.
Dude, Piers Morgan draws the worst out of everyone.
dude,
you
he
guys
is
familiar?
Such a, yeah, he is
Yeah.
such a.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Pierce Morgan at all.
I mean, who is a? He's
Such
got
a
the
punchable
most
face.
smug face.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Oh.
Oh, his face looks like a perfect mask. You know, like yeah.
Yeah, so he did this interview that was 2 hours long, in which all Pierce Morgan did was like feed him soft questions that would
Leading
require-
questions?
Yeah, leading questions like,
Yeah,
oh, do you think the team let you down?
yeah.
Do you feel like the other players weren't up to your level? Do you think that you are too good for this team? What do you think about the environment? Did you notice that a lot of the stuff in the training room had been the same when you left 10 years ago?
Now, leading up to this, you've noticed that you put in a lot of work. Have you noticed that your teammates suck?
Yeah. I mean, it was leading question after leading question. And all Ronaldo had to do was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. You are right. I've been putting in a lot of work. And so he had some issues over the last 12 months when they fired the previous coach when he had started and brought in this like super pragmatic technical coach. And then after that, they brought in this other super pragmatic technical coach. And Ronaldo is just one of those guys at this point, being 37, that just wants to go out there and score goals. Like, this is the end of his career. He wants to be a superstar. But the problem is he's not superstar level anymore. Like
Yeah.
he's not a
His like, talent has diminished a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you get older. But when you have 20 years of being him, of being that guy, or like the
It's
team.
fucking surprising that you can keep up that level
By the way,
in that sport for 20
the
years.
last
sport, yeah.
5 years, the fact that the last 5 years you've been competing at such a high level,
Like once you make it to year 12, like they're already looking for your replacement. But this
Yeah.
dude was like, "Fuck those standards." You
Yeah.
know, like yeah.
no, he has kept his body to such a tremendous shape. He has both gained and lost weight like a monster. Like,
What if you hear all of this was because of PEDs in like 5 years?
what's that?
I'm about to jump on right now. Then
PEDs, performance enhancing drugs,
oh,
like
I wouldn't go
steroids.
fuck.
I'll start doing them right
I
now
don't.
too.
Honestly, when I hear athletes are doing like steroids,
You're like,
and-
isn't everybody? Is that what you
honestly,
think?
that's my opinion. It's like, well, yeah. How do you expect it? Hey, he won fucking 5 Champions League.
Yeah.
Like, what do you expect?
Yeah, but like in the
What
sport
do
of
you
like
expect?
Yeah.
physical combat sport, that's where I'm like,
Oh
that's
yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
unfair advantage. Right
When you are fighting somebody else and they weren't taking like perform, well, you could say the same thing about like
Soccer,
soccer.
Yeah, I was gonna
basketball,
say that
all that
doesn't
stuff,
seem
yeah.
like
because
yeah.
it's a team sport, you know. So there's like,
Yeah.
like honestly, one guy cannot do it all in soccer. In
No.
basketball, a little bit because you have less
Like,
guys on
yeah.
the court.
Gobi.
But dude, in American football and in like European football, one guy is one. Fucking,
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
one of
They'll
one-
stand out and look like a superstar, but their superstardom will not carry them.
dude, and that always happens with like a small team. Will have like one really good player on there, and then that one really good player gets picked up and put on a super team.
Like a
And
couple
that-
weeks ago, you mentioned that Mexican guy that was all natural, that doesn't lift weights when we're doing.
Oh,
the,
Adama Traore,
Oh my god.
the Spanish guy.
Yeah, dude.
He's not that good,
But like
he just looks great.
exactly. But the few highlights of him within that team of like 20 or so, he could be a star player just by.
You know what's funny is that did happen. Was in for 6 months he played at Barcelona and he looked like dog shit. He didn't make the team. He got his ass sent back to Wolverhampton.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
get it now.
again, yeah, you get players that look great, and then you put them on a big team, and they're like, ooh.
It's the same with like I wouldn't say the same, but like if you could be a big fish in like a high school, D3 league, and then your
Yeah.
ass goes to college, and you're like, holy fuck, dude,
You're like, the margins are just like,
they're beasts.
yeah, it's just different. So, to wrap up my segment on Ronaldo, I want to give a quick summary. He went to a team knowing they were bad
Mm.
and was hoping that he could just carry them.
Mm.
Be a spark plug.
And he did. He fucking scored over 20 goals. He was insane his first year. He had a child unfortunately pass away.
Oh,
And
what?
Yeah, I wasn't aware, but
he-
that's interesting.
In February of this year, he had a child not make it after being born, which is, you can
Very
only imagine how extremely fucking difficult that's got to be to cope with. And so he's had not only sports difficulties, but life difficulties. And, what do you expect from a 37-year-old that hasn't been told no for 20 years? But then you go to a team that's in a rebuild that has to look after themselves. They have to look at themselves and be like, listen, you're not going to be here in 5 years. We have to replace you no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's next year or right now. So what happened was they ended up coming to a mutual agreement where they just ripped the contract up. And if they weren't going to come to an agreement, they were actually going to sue him
Why?
because
By
of
sitting out this contract and like I refuse to play.
yeah.
Damn.
They're gonna take legal ramifications because there were
Yeah.
a couple of games where he had refused to play. He actually had gone to the dressing room before the end of the game when he was told like, "Hey, I want you to come on as a sub," and they were gonna be like, "You fucking breached the contract. You're a
Yeah.
player. You didn't play."
Yeah.
So they were like, "Unless we come to a mutual agreement where we terminate this contract." So for all the Ronaldo stands who are gonna be like, "He's better than Messi," no, first of all, and second of all. There's no way that you can defend him in this. Like, the team let him down, but guess what? The team has been letting down their fucking players for the last 10 years. Manchester United are a fucking joke.
Yeah, he should have seen that.
And he thought, like, I
Hey,
can
money talks. Money talks. They probably offered him a big sum instead of like playing for a prestigious or like a like-minded individuals that are like, oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna put the best performers out there. All about the money. That easy pay.
Or to understand, like, hey, I'm getting older. I'm there. I'm gonna be playing less, but when I play, I gotta contribute. I gotta be a role model. No, this dude's being fucking as selfish as always, and being like, nah, dude, I'm fucking
being a diva.
on him.
Yeah.
I'm being the one.
He's like, my hard work brought me here.
Yeah,
That's you're a team. It's a team game.
yeah.
That's what it is.
No, I couldn't
If
agree
he
more.
wants
That's
to be-
hilarious. Like I kind of see parallels with him and Aaron Rodgers.
What's wrong
Yeah.
with well, let's
Aaron
go back
Ro-
to American sports.
Aaron
What's wrong with
Rodgers
A-Rod?
is criticizing, like, Aaron Rodgers has this famous segment on the Pat McAfee show every Tuesday, I think, where he comes on every week, regardless of him losing, winning, anything. He's been doing that for 2.5 years now.
God damn.
Yeah, both MVP seasons, by the way, like the last two that he did.
Yeah.
Not
and
this season. 'Cause
not this season because he's
garbage.
yeah. You could say that, or you could say that his play would
playing
have been
as good
better
as the Bears.
if he would have had
A better team
receivers that could
True.
be better. But yeah, like he goes on almost every week and he's like, well, you know, like I told the reporter, like the question Pat McAfee will ask, we saw that you like had gotten questioned about your teammates and that you were saying like, well, yeah, they should pick it up, like this or that, you know, like not deflecting it, not being like giving their teammate the benefit of the doubt, nothing. They were just like, yeah, they do got to get better. Like they got to improve at this, that, this. And it's been like 6 weeks of that where like almost every week, like he has some line about, yeah, my fucking teammates this week or something like that. I don't know, like,
Dude, how do you say that?
and like he's caught like 1,000 times on camera. Like he'll throw the ball and they'll drop it and he'll like turn around and be like, fucking idiot or something like that, you know? Like, it was just
already blaming
yeah.
Steve in real time.
And yeah, exactly. So it happens on the court. It happens to the media. He's like
Goddamn.
turning into this crotchety old man that'd be like, these fucking kids, like, oh,
Yeah,
why
that's
can't they
funny.
be better? You know,
It's
like,
really funny.
I kind of relates to the whole old man segment of like, what the fuck? I put in so much work.
yeah.
What
Put
was
in 20
very
years for
popular
this?
A couple weeks ago was CM Punk, who was big into the UFC thing and all that stuff, right?
Try to fight
He tried to fight, got his ass whooped two different times.
very, very badly. By
He
the
made
way.
his tumultuous return to the WWE or the AEW scene, right?
Uh-huh.
Wrestling world scene, right? A year
Is
ago,
AEW WWE?
AEW is the competitor to WWE.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're like the second biggest fish in the game, right?
I would have just thought that somehow WWE still owned it somehow
And
because
with
everything
the-
in America is a fucking monopoly. Like,
Exactly, brother. And they're in the hands of Saudi Arabia. That's a different podcast.
AEW is?
No, WWE. You know that.
Oh, yeah, I did know that, yeah.
All it took was the killing of Jamel Khashoggi.
Okay, yeah.
That's a different podcast. But hold on.
Right here.
Hold on. CM Punk returns to AEW, which made them the second biggest competition because holy fuck, CM Punk's back. Millions of views. Big draw in power, right? This couple of weeks ago, he won a championship, had a press conference. They do a media scrum after the pay-per-views. They interview the wrestlers. He goes off for 20 minutes of like, I'm old, I'm fucking tired, and I work with children. He just goes off on a 20-minute rant of like, the presidents in the back, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to run a fucking target. He's swearing. He's like pissed. He's like bloody from the last match because, you know, they cut themselves. Or if you're unprofessional like CM Punk, then you just take a hit and you're like, oh, I'm old. I'm not a big fan of the Punk guy. But he buried AEW. He's like, this company sucks. I work with children. I'm old. Quite frankly, I haven't, because the big commotion is like he sued a friend of his years ago that's with the company now. They're like, how's it work? How's it like working with him? He's like, quite frankly, I'm quite tired of this question. And he just goes off on the reporters like, you guys need to treat your job with integrity. This is a fucking joke. He got suspended from the company, no longer in wrestling. He was spotted a couple of weeks ago doing commentary for an Eastern MMA league.
Eastern European or what were you? Eastern what?
Eastern American.
Eastern American.
What's Eastern American?
MMA.
But like
They're like Bellator. It's not
like
Bellator.
the
Like,
East
he was
Coast.
I think
What
we're
does that
talking
mean?
about geography.
Yeah, like
Oh.
like where is this organization
Like
from?
I think they were in Amsterdam.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that count European?
That's not Eastern American.
Eastern.
It's just East,
It's
bro.
East.
It's
It's
East of here, yes.
It's East.
Central Europe. You
It's
mean?
Far East. It's Far
Hey
East.
man, whatever you see the sun rise up, that's the East, brother. That's the East right there.
Oh,
man.
sorry, I got confused. Sorry.
All right,
Alpine
boys. We're at
Eastern Front.
an hour. You guys want to
Like
wrap
an
it up?
We
Yeah.
are an hour in?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow, this is beautiful.
I think. Well, I gotta get going.
See how much time flies by when we're all in person.
Exactly. A few things that I want to say. I think we should all go around the room.
Hell yeah.
We've been doing this for a little over a year. It's great to be in person again.
Yep.
Extremely thankful for being here with you guys. And
You
seeing-
shut up. I'm gonna cry right
Seeing
now.
how far we've grown, and it's been a ton of fun. It's been, quite a challenge at times, technically and physically, but I've enjoyed it so far.
Not you
was too, beautiful.
man. Not you.
That was beautiful,
Stop it,
Luis.
man. Stop it.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I love you guys.
Yeah,
And
that was
the
dope.
fact that we can do this every week and share just a small little pocket with you guys.
Thank you guys for hanging out. You
Yeah.
know,
For real.
all of our 30 listeners, we love you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, we
Love
got
you guys
2 new
so much.
subscribers to the YouTube.
What's up?
Shout
What's
out.
up, guys?
Shout out
Yeah,
to
we
them.
see you guys.
We see you.
Yeah. And don't forget, with the new merch coming in, you guys are in qualification for this new merch coming
That
in.
is right. That'll be
Yeah.
announced probably in 2 weeks. We'll make the post.
Mhm. Before Christmas. Gotta get.
Yeah, we want.
There we go.
want it to be for like
Holiday
Christmas,
season,
so
baby.
that's the whole
Yeah,
point.
my apologies if you don't celebrate Christmas. The holidays.
Holidays. Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody who's listening to this or watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your local friends about it. Tell your coworkers about it. Let them know that if they want to drink a glass of wine and want some company, to join us.
Exactly.
Every week we're going to break down a new drink. We're going to come out with videos. It's been kind of a hectic couple months because of some changes. One of us got married. One of us is moving. And one of us...
It's still contemplating whether he's gay or not. I'm going through changes. And
With that being said, thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you all next
we'll
week.
see you all next week.